It's episode 92. How exciting is that? Where's my fire? Fire! It's so hot. I really shouldn't have fire. It's 97 degrees. It's just ridiculous. We didn't even get like a month of 85. It just went boom, boom. You may be seeing behind me termites. Do you notice the clock is gone? Do you see what that is? That's my favorite poster. Well, it was a painting in a casino in Arizona, wolf with hot dog. Yep. And a termite painted it wolf with ranch, and it has a baby shoe on it.
So awesome.
It's this lady.
Who did
it? Shannon. And you can totally share this on the podcast. She's been a fan since the stand-up Spotlight Comedy Central days. And I won't list the year, she said, because then we'd both feel old. Yes. I mean, these are the kind of shows where if somebody said to me in a court of law, were you on that? I'd be like, I don't know. Probably. Every half-hour thing that was on there, I probably did them all. She knew that I liked this painting. She's an art teacher. Yeah. And she had some additional time on her hands. And I thought, I wonder if her students, if she was over in the corner, thought that lady is painting something for some lady who has a podcast. Hello to Paddles. Keep doing the Lord's work.
Yay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I love it. I'm going to leave it up. The clock's getting kind of heavy, and it's damaging the wall. Yeah. I do love an Anheuser-Busch Clydesdale clock, but in other orders of business, what are we drinking? A little Busch Light, the farm can. Delicious. All over the Midwest. Now they have ones in Iowa that have corn all over them, too. Those are, super specific to Iowa. This can be found in Missouri. It has John Deere tractors all over it. And Busch Light is a wonderful summer beer. It's got a little fizz.
I like it.
You can have 100 in the lake and not feel drunk. Now, I can't, it's not the best beer that I've ever drank, but it's wonderful for summer. And then a little Canadian termite sent me, I'll tell you who the Canadian termite is. Mo and Richard.
Nice.
They like the Pubcast, and then she didn't want to to send this stuff from Canada is a pain in somebody's ass, so I extra appreciate the effort. These are Crown Royal whiskey barrel chunks.
No.
Yes, for grilling. Yes. And then it's written in French, too. Now, Canada, what have we learned? How do we save money? You don't need to print everything twice. You don't need to paint. Well, as an American, you go up there and you're like, why do you have to paint everything fucking twice? Because of a tiny portion of the entire nation is French. It'd be like saying if we did it all for Texas, if Texas had their own language.
But both are mighty.
They're both mighty. I mean, and I speak a little bit of French. I understand it. But anyway, that is great. And then some Winnipeg Jets. Aside from the St. Louis Blues logo, this is my favorite logo in all of hockey. It's the Winnipeg Jets golf balls. And then she sent some little Canadian treats. These being one of them. I've never heard of them. Maynard's wine gums.
Oh, they're good.
But see, I just got I think I should taste these next week. I got a new ground.
Put a little bit on.
It'll pull it out. The guy told me not to do this. The dentist, Dr. Bates, he told me not to do it. See, they're good, but you gotta have the right teeth for them. I've spent too much on my teeth. I can't do it. But I am gonna eat the Cheeto things she sent. Cheesies? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't do it.
She said cocktails too.
And there's not real wine in them, so if you want to get them for the kids, you can. It's not.
Did you just put that back in there?
Yeah, well, it's my bag. Don't you worry about what I did with it. How about that? Look who's sneaking out from behind the candle. Fredbird, because the Cardinals are now in first place. We have surpassed Colton Wall. We have surpassed the Brewers. But it won't matter, because all they talk about on SportsCenter is the Yankees.
Yeah.
Okay, before I forget, I'm gonna try this too. This intrigued me. Hidden Valley Ranch now has Greek ranch. Well, it's just called Greek. But who doesn't like Greek dressing, right? Hidden Valley Ranch can't mess this. Whoa, that was too much. It's made with Greek yogurt, though. I'm not a big Greek yogurt person.
Oh, God. It'll taste like...
I want it to taste like tzatziki. No. No.
I can smell it.
It's fine for something. I mean, it's not horrible. But I'd rather have ranch. Yeah. That could be fine for a Greek salad if you don't have their dressing. And most importantly, oh my God, So my friend Kathy in Atlanta, the one who plays fantasy football like it's reality and only chooses New Orleans Saints, she found Goldfish limited edition Old Bay seasoning. Now here's what I always say. There's no reason to try to change a Cheez-It or the Goldfish. Right. I love them, but I love Old Bay. And to tell you the truth, I've already eaten a couple, and they're great. They made a Goldfish better. Well, sometimes it's really loud when I open the packaging on air. It's irritating if you're on the other end of it, I'm sure. It irritates me, and I'm sitting here, and I can hear it in headphones. So we got a lot of nice stuff. Got back from Atlantic City. Oh, my God, it was so fun. My new friend Alex, Captain Alex, as I like to call him, he got a brand new boat. He was so excited. They don't tell Midwest people, like when you're in Atlantic City, that there's islands out there. That if you go over there, there's islands with just beach houses and fun, cool stuff. And Brigantine and marinas. And we went to a couple bars in the inlets where they have mermaids. I can't think of the name of it. Sirens, yes. Yes, I got a T-shirt from there, but they have little plastic mermaids that come on your giant drink. And then I became obsessed with stealing more not stealing, but asking people if I could have their mermaid.
Just random people.
Yeah, well, adults too, and they look at me like, "What are you, 9?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I need every color, because I'm gonna take them home and put them on my jewelry box." And the show was so fun. I met a couple termites in the casino afterwards. But I had my mask on because I had to have it on backstage with the crew, and then I felt stupid, but I did take it off for the picture. Yeah. So, and then I came out of the elevator, and boom, there's my friend Tom Papa on the billboard. He's coming next. So if you're in Atlantic City, you could go see my friend Tom Papa. He's very funny. And my friend Juan White, who has rescheduled his show for July 22nd at Ocean Casino.
Did you go there?
I went down the whole boardwalk, and the ocean end is trying to, like, let's clean this up. Let's get a little something going here. The Hard Rock's doing okay, but then you keep going and going and going. And like the Tropicana, which used to be fine back in the day, but you just feel like they let these places go. They were advertising an escape room, and I'm like, this whole boardwalk is an escape room. I mean, have you seen the people walking around down here? But then there's a Margaritaville, and they have a land shark bar. It was great. And they had wonderful fish tacos if you're ever in Atlantic City. Go to Land Shark. It's on the beach. Yeah. And then I tried to do this promo. This is why East Coast people can go either way. They can be, for a Midwest person, they can either be super abrasive or overly hilariously fun-friendly. But they're very boisterous in general, versus the Midwest people would be a little more low-key about, hello, goodbye. Like, we don't really. This guy, I was filming the video for this on the beach, and I'm reading this stuff, and he goes, hey, right in the shot. Like, he doesn't even care. I'm filming something, but I'm like, I wasn't doing a very good job on round one anyway, so I'm like, well, I'm going to have to take it again because I was just fumbling around. But he's like, were you talking about those reality people? He was like a 60-year-old guy. Those reality people, Chrisley knows something. I go, yeah, that show, they're going to jail. He goes, I knew that. You know what? You can't lie to a bank like that. And then he had read all the articles, and I said, do you like the show? He goes, no, I've only seen it like twice. I go, me too. I've only seen it like twice. But he was so friendly. And like when he's coming at me in his Yankees hat, and he just is kind of rough around the edges, I thought, oh no, what is this all about? And I would have talked to him all day. And he's like, well, good talking to you. I'm like, good talking to you too. Please don't walk back this way if you could just go around. After Atlantic City, I'm about to go to Salina, Kansas with my teen idol, Shawn Cassidy. Very excited. Have you practiced what you're going to say? I Googled best place to eat in Salina, Kansas, and the Olive Garden made the top 5. So I don't mind the Olive Garden though. Their salad's fine. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't like the unending bread bowl if you don't care about weighing 7,000 pounds? What am I going to say to him? Yeah. Well, I don't want to make him feel stupid. I'm just going to say, I picked you, and you represent well on Twitter compared to Scott Baio. And who's that crazy Kirk Cameron, whose sister is Candace Creme Brulee on the Hallmark movies, in case anybody didn't know that. Totally. And who's the other one? Ricky Schroeder. They're all crazy. Shawn just, if he tweets, it's all, he's smart. He's a good human. I know an actor friend of mine that knows him from something in Australia. Yeah, I'm staying for him. I'm going over to sound check early. Yeah, I'm going to watch his sound check. If he'll let me. He may not want people to do that. He probably won't care. And then I'm going to go play in a golf tournament. It's a Father's Day thing, and you have teams of 3. So it's me, my sister, and my dad, and then my brother and his wife, and their Tom, the little guy. He's 10, I think. But apparently he's a good golfer. I've seen it. I've never seen him. But it's going to be very hot.
What time's your tea time?
The tea time on both days is at 6:30. And I go, what the fuck? Why would you do this? Yes, Dad's up. I get it. And now, though, that I see how hot it's going to be, I'm kind of relieved. But I said, I'm going to have to get up like at 4:30 if I have to go get him. And then, whatever. We're first out. So, I'll be asleep through the first 9 holes. It's fine. I won't even wake up till probably the 11th hole. But it'll be fun. And there you go. And then I can be at the lake all weekend. And, my dad's like, won't this be great? We'll be done by noon. I'm like, and tired. But he ain't ever tired. Nope. No. Jackalope goes moving right along. He's playing golf with my brother today. It's like 100 degrees. Yeah, that's where my dad's going to drop dead. But he doesn't care. No. I'm going. I'm like, it's a little hot post-stroke, Jack. Yeah. He don't care. No. He's fine. All right, termites, let's get to it. Was there anything else about Atlantic City? Borgata. Oh, the Borgata. Well, I love the Borgata. Borgata is not on the boardwalk, for those of you that have or haven't been to Atlantic City. And there's big acts coming there. I mean, they do not fail to get the entertainment. That's why I don't understand why the other casinos don't step up their game with their bars, their lounges, clean some shit up here. Let's act like company's coming over and hide shit under the bed if you have to, but company is coming. Like Alan Jackson's doing a show down on the boardwalk in the old convention center. They're going to let, thousands of people out, but it's the boardwalk at night. Nobody's going to want to stay and drink. It's too dangerous, right? Make it safe. There were a few things, signs of life. This big outdoor bar called The Yard, that looked fun at Caesars. It's like a garage door thing that opens up, and you're pretty much right near on the ocean. Well, you're on the boardwalk. But
did you go to Izakaya?
I did go to Izakaya in the Borgata and got sushi, and that was great. And they were fast because I had to do it before the show because friends came. And the opening act was Michael Somerville. A lot of you were asking. That's his name. Very, very funny. He's dangerous for me to be around, though, because he's a beer monster and a sports monster, and, we could go down a bad road together. Right. Well, just at 50 beers. Yeah. With no problem. Right. And he can drink. They put backstage some IPA. Sierra Nevada made it some IPA. Mm-hmm. And really, I got it for Michael. Yep. But I did want to taste one, and he goes, so you're gonna want to taste one? Because he was judging if he could drink the other five. Yes, Michael. Yes. And you can probably have the one I'm going to taste. I just will probably go right back to a Mick Ultra. Don't you worry about it.
Great sports book. I like the sports book.
They have a good sports book there. Yeah, I got to play a little bit of poker. I got my money back. Came out $200 ahead, which never, ever happens. Nice. Yeah. So that is all the business at hand. That's enough of that if that bores you termites. Now, here's a weird work thing. Well, I have no Queen news. Here's all I know. Stevie's out on the road. Following it on Instagram. Tanya's bobbing around everywhere. Cher kind of lost her mind a little bit on Twitter, but I didn't understand what any of it meant. Yeah. I'm not sure she did either. That's fine. Dolly's quiet and Shaka quiet. I got to follow more of Shaka's stuff, maybe TikTok. Cher had a new shirt called Cher Chassis. I can't say it right. Like Versace plus Cher Chassis. It's very cool. I think it's a Pride t-shirt. The colors are really cool. It's a black t-shirt with crazy colors all around. And her mom, who's 96. So, holy shit. Yeah, and looks great. Wow. I'm like, that's amazing. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, termites, let's get to it then. That's all the work here was a very strange thing. This is before I do up. No, I'll save it for what do you watch. Update! I love this one. The JFK Q cult is heading back to Dallas for another second coming. No. Now, they already went, and I watched the videos online. There's not many of them left. Most, I'd say 200. Huh. This is the story, though, why they think JFK, just to even say what they think is going to happen is so mind-boggling. I'm not even sure they understand JFK was a Democrat. Start with that. Second of all, he's definitely dead. If he wasn't dead, he wouldn't come back to run with Trump. But Michael Protzman, this is the guy responsible for this. A Q influencer has once again promised that JFK would reappear and reveal himself to the group. It's been 200 days since more than 1,000 people traveled across the United States to Dallas at the behest of Michael Protzman, a QAnon influencer known as Negative 48, who promised, or maybe they mean the old JFK. I thought it was Junior. This one's not saying, well, let me keep reading.
Doesn't matter.
They're both definitely dead. Yes. He promised his followers that JFK would reappear at Dealey Plaza. JFK did not reappear, of course, but the Hugh cult is now returning to Texas. More than 7 months after the first group, they're heading back this weekend. He was going to reveal himself, proving for once in fact that he is the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. Protzman had already checked into the Hyatt Regency where hundreds of people gathered last November. There's not hundreds anymore. I think they got disappointed nothing happened the first time. These are the diehards.
This is a two-over.
We started in Dallas, and what started in Dallas ends in Dallas. One member of the Telegram group linked to the cult wrote on Friday morning. Early this week, an hour-long audio chats on his Telegram channel laid out what he predicted would happen. He told his followers that JFK would reveal himself only to those willing to travel to Dallas on Saturday. This would be followed by 10 days of darkness. Before JFK would finally reveal himself to the world. So you got to see him early if you went.
Right.
And you got a preview. A core group of followers remained in the city for months after their initial gathering before going on on tour with former President Donald Trump at rallies. On tour, they're following like deadheads. In that time, Protzman has destroyed relationships, financially ruined families, and pushed increasingly erratic and wild conspiracies about Trump, JFK, and the Ukraine war. Because here's another little tidbit. As somebody who travels every week, and I do all my travel bookings, I don't like Lou still has a travel agent. I'm like, really? Wow. Right. Do people still do that? But airline tickets are getting crazy, crazy expensive. I know my friend Michael was saying he's going to go do Brad Carrett's Comedy Club out in Vegas. It's $850 round trip from New York to Vegas. Coach. Yeah, the price is so these people, they're spending their money to get to Dallas to see something that ain't going to happen. I'm sure that's not helping matters either.
Wow.
I'd like to say that I'm glad Protzman's group of believers are heading back to Dallas so that he'll be exposed as a liar, but I'm not holding my breath that any of his followers will suddenly have the ability to think critically and see that they are following a madman, a family member of one of Protzman's followers told him. They have the uncanny ability to believe everything he tells them. I mean everything. It's in all caps. The family member, who did not want to be identified over fears of retaliation from the group, described the last 220 days as a nightmare, adding that the rest of the families were affected just want closure. It's almost been something that's broken me completely. I've had to come to grips with losing my loved one, and yet they are still alive. The person I knew doesn't seem to be there mentally anymore. It's filled me with anxiety, confusion, deep pain, and deep feelings of rejection. It's been an impossible journey to come to grips with something so unbelievable. That would be weird if one of your relatives went off this deep end.
Yeah.
Like, I've had relatives do crazy things, but they've never gone full on cult.
No.
Protzman, a former demolition expert from Federal Way in Washington State, who was previously arrested for domestic violence, rose to fame as a QAnon influencer through the bastardized version of Jewish numerology known as gematria, which assigned a numerical value to each letter of the alphabet. Oh, here we go. He amassed tens of thousands of followers on his Telegram channel in the space of months. He was able to persuade 1,000 people to pay for flights and accommodations. Let's not forget, hotels are not cheap anymore either.
No,
Whoa, Nelly, they are not cheap. Okay, in Dallas, he forced elderly followers and children to spend hours waiting for the JFK that never happened. One day, he forced his followers to wait in the rain at Dealey Plaza, where JFK was assassinated. Oh, they're looking for the real one, not the son. In 1970s, for the former president, when that didn't happen, he forced everyone to buy expensive tickets for a Rolling Stones concert, in which he claimed dead celebrities like Prince, Michael Jackson, oh yeah, we read about this a long time ago, would join JFK Jr. on stage dressed as a member of the band.
That's right. Yep.
Right. That didn't happen either. No. While many of them realized he was a fraud, there were still over 100 who remained loyal to him and remained in Dallas for months, spending Thanksgiving and Christmas away from their families. Oh, they handed over tens of thousands of dollars to him to pay for his penthouse suite at the Hyatt. Wow. Well, first of all, it's a Hyatt. The penthouse doesn't cost tens of thousands. It's probably $480. So, this year he's taking his group on the road, traveling to the Trump things. He continued to make wilder and wilder claims, false assertions that the Ukraine war was a cover to unmask President Joe Biden's criminality and that Melania Trump was the queen of Russia. She might be. I don't know. That's the only thing I might get on board with here. Mm-hmm. I've always thought she might be a spy. Maybe I'll start a chat room.
Get on 9chan.
The group has posted images of some prominent members, including Protzman, making Nazi salutes. They said it was just done for laughs, just to make fun of people who think we're a cult. Huh.
That's hilarious.
Then it keeps going on. Well, I watched the thing.
What?
They were down there this weekend. I printed out this article last week. They all went, nothing happened. But now it's already done. It happened this weekend. Yeah. But now I don't know what's going to happen. Hundreds of people. I'd say probably 200. Mm-hmm. Somebody's monitoring him. That's good. It's like those ones in Idaho. Somebody infiltrated their little, any group that starts with Patriot these days is never good. No. And they were going to go mess up gay pride parade with smoke bombs and There's nothing more celebratory and fun than a gay pride parade, and you want to go fuck with that? Like, come on, people. I guess there's nothing else going on that weekend in Idaho. Oh, shoot. Update. Well, I forgot the biggest update. Brittany got married. And then her first husband or that man crashed the wedding, and they had to have him taken away.
Jason?
Yeah, Jason. And her mother was not invited. Brittany posted something saying, I guess her invitation got lost in the mail. Yeah, she was part of the problem.
Yeah.
Update. Supreme Court declines appeal over law licenses from the St. Louis couple. You know, the Hamburglar, the man and the lady with the mustard on their shirt. The McCluskeys. Yeah, he's running for a Senate seat. He will not win. I saw his van. I saw what he drives to run around. Yeah, this is not a campaign that's for real. He's just looking for money, I think. The Supreme Court declines appeal over law licenses from St. Louis couple who waved guns at a 2020 protest. The Supreme Court, they took it all the way to the Supreme Court. On Monday, they declined to hear an appeal from a St. Louis couple who would face an indefinite suspension of their law licenses after they waved guns at a racial justice protest outside their home. First of all, not written correctly, USA Today, the protest was not outside their home. Like, they weren't standing there. They cut through a street, and they were headed somewhere else, and then those two freaked out, which is really weird because there were a lot of black people. But if you're afraid of black people to that extent where you just run and go get guns if you see them on the street, you shouldn't be living there. No. Because that part of St. Louis, there's a lot of black people everywhere. Right. But they think they have a private street. Oh, these two. McCloskey, a personal injury attorney and Republican candidate for the Senate in Missouri, and his wife drew national attention for walking onto their front yard with guns during the protest of a police killing of George Floyd. The protesters were walking to the home of the St. Louis mayor. They're not walking to your house, guys. No. Just sit down, offer them a lemonade. There were kids out there. It wasn't some crazy. It's just. Mark pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge, and Patricia pleaded guilty to having mustard on her shirt. I made that up. To harassment. Missouri Governor Michael Parson pardoned the couple in 2021, but the state office responsible for investigating allegations of misconduct sought to suspend their license. Both of them. The Supreme Court of Missouri, in February agreed to suspend the license indefinitely, but stayed the suspensions in place to two lawyers on probation for a year. Conditions of the probation included that they provide quarterly reports to a probation monitor, including whether they were charged with additional crimes, and 100 hours of free legal services. I wouldn't take theirs. No. Clearly they don't. Yeah. In their appeal, they argued that the state's courts violated their Second Amendment rights and their right to due process because they were exercising lawful right to bear arms in defense of their person, family, or home. Nobody had done anything. No. You can't just go wave guns at people when they haven't breached your property, They haven't gotten a gun out. Nobody had a gun that they can show me or prove. Yeah. So anyway, it's a good update. You two just sit in your penalty box and think about what you've done. You go sit under there, do a timeout.
Five for fighting.
Update! I love it. The U.S. wins the case to seize Russian super yacht in Fiji. Remember the one I've told you guys it was in Fiji? We won. Now here's my question. Where do we dock it? Because a regular slip to rent for what I would call a regular boat, meaning a boat under 30 feet, is about, depending on your lake, anywhere from $300 to $600 a month. Wow. What are we going to do with a $325 million yacht? Where are we parking it?
Party Cove.
They should take it to the Lake of the Ozarks and put it in Party Cove and make it a fucking bar.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The government could make so much money. This is how we make money.
Yes.
As a nation. Mm-hmm. Take this yacht, take it to Lake Lanier in Georgia.
Yeah.
The government's bar and restaurant, and then make them all government employees so they get paid well and they have insurance. That'd be good.
Redistribute the post office people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This one sailed into Fiji waters without any permit and most likely to evade prosecution in the United States. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It wasn't immediately clear where the U.S. intended to take the Amida, which the FBI has linked to Russian oligarch Suleiman Karimov. I'm sure I said all of that wrong. So there you go. We're getting them one by one. I think, and I didn't have time to print out the article, I think they took that Roman guy's jet too. I'll look into it. Speaking of which, I promised you guys a total. I did my math, and I had to do it like 10 times because I'm like, this can't be true, right? The 384-foot yacht that I talked about, it holds 434,000 gallons of gas. So I did that times 7. That's the price of gas on the lake in Missouri and Tennessee.
$7.
Yeah, it comes out to fill her up $3,038,000. How could you, but and then could you do the ultimate hillbilly move and rock up with like just $200 bills and go, can I just get like 4 gallons? I just want to go over there. I want to go to that dock. I want to be able to turn, $3 million to fill her up. Now, the next thing I will do for the next podcast is tell you how far you can go on filling it up. The problem is I suck in regular math, and a lot of the articles that I have to go through, they put them in liters and meters and things I don't,
It's metric.
Yeah, you can do metric. Canada knows it.
You're an imperial person.
What?
Imperial.
What's an imperial person? Are you imperial?
You're imperial.
I'm imperial?
Gallons.
Gallons. Is that imperial?
Where
Where did I go to school?
I don't want to talk about you.
Our Lady Queen of Peace, grade school. Hello.
Okay.
St. Margaret Mary's. Hello.
What do you think you are? Just not metric?
The system of math? I would call it confusing. I guess I thought we were just not metric. Standard operating math. Fuck if I know.
American answer.
As soon as they started, it is. This is where my dumb American can come raging out. Why don't you ask me about anything in the galaxy either? Never paid attention to that shit. For my science experiment in 5th grade, my dad had a giant vodka bottle, and it had a pumper on it. That's how big the vodka bottle was. And my dad's really bad at science too, right? And my mom was working back then, like crazy hours as a nurse, and she didn't have time. She understands science and math. She's way smarter than me and my dad, but she was busy. So I said, Dad, I got to have a science experiment. I don't know shit. You're like, what are we going to do? I was in 5th grade. He goes, go get that giant vodka bottle in the basement. So it was huge. It was probably 3 foot tall. It had a thing on top. And he goes, there was not that much vodka left. They don't even drink vodka, but his friend did. It was there for his friend, Jim. And we poured out the vodka. He goes, let's hard boil an egg. We didn't really know how, but we did. And he goes, go get a piece of newspaper and a lighter. And so we lit newspaper and shoved it down into the bottom of the vodka bowl, and then put the hard boiled egg on top. And then it went, whoosh, and it created a vacuum. I still don't really understand that whole concept. But here's what I do know. When I toddled on into my Catholic school with a giant vodka bottle and a lighter, And I had a cardboard deal explaining it. And I'm like, look, some shit's going to go down here with fire and hard-boiled eggs. And it is fantastic. And immediately I was pulled aside. Kathleen, who helped you with this? My dad. You can call him. He's at work. Here's his number, 314.
We've already called him.
I think they were just alarmed about the vodka bottle and the lighter and all that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Update. This is why we don't like Mark Zuckerberg. We're going to do these every week until I pound it through people's head. Facebook is describing what it describes internally as a tsunami of privacy regulations all over the world, which will force the company to dramatically change how it deals with users' personal data. Will it? Not really. How do we know? And the fundamental problems the company admits is that Facebook has no idea where all of its user data is going or what it's doing with it. This is according to a leaked internal document obtained by Motherboard, whatever that is. We built systems with open borders. The results of these open systems and open culture is well described with an analogy. Imagine you hold a bottle of ink in your hand. This bottle of ink is a mixture of all kinds of user data. I don't even know what this means. 3PD, 1PD, whatever. You pour that ink into the lake of water. Our open data systems, our open culture. That's the lake. And it flows everywhere. How do you put the ink back in the bottle? How do you organize it again such that it flows to the only allowed places in the lake? I get what they're saying. Take a bottle of ink, and that's all our data. Pour it in a lake, and it just goes everywhere. You can't control it. So that's what they're doing. If you're concerned about your personal data, this document was written last year by Facebook privacy engineers on the ad and business product team, whose mission is to make meaningful connections between people and businesses, which sits at the center of our monetization strategy and the engine that powers Facebook's growth. The team, I'm not even going to read the rest. You don't need to know the rest. Just know that they don't have any control over it. They have created a monster. The monster's just out roaming around. They don't know where it went. They don't have no idea. They don't know anything.
Keep posting.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to bother the average animal out there, but I don't even care. I don't even have anything that's secret. No. Of what I mean, credit card numbers, stuff like that. They get hacked all the time, though. Right. Somebody hacked. There's a website called Sheen that teenagers like, girls. So I bought my nieces stuff from there. I got them gift cards and stuff, and somebody hacked my crap because that's a Chinese deal, and then they ordered a pair of size 12 Air Jordans, but they only hacked me enough to buy them, but they got sent to me. I opened them up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, did I buy shoes for... I'm like, who wears it at 12? Maybe my brother-in-law? Maybe? And I called them, and they sorted it all out. And I said, what am I supposed to do with the shoes? Because we don't even know who bought them. But they took the charge off, but I still have the shoes. I'm putting them on eBay. Why not? Good. They're Air Jordans. They got to be worth something. Okay, and before we go to, holy shit, they found it, what are we watching? Well, this was really weird. So, well, first of all, I binged all of Under the Banner of Heaven. It's so good.
That is a good show.
All of it. It's so great. I'm starting Peaky Blinders. Love it, love it, love it. But I haven't really gotten into it. But my friend Lucy, she runs and books the comedy club in Zanies and then the Zanies in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And she tweeted that she watched this show on Hulu called The Deep End. Mm-hmm. It's about this lady named Teal Swan. Yep. Now, I'd never heard of any of it. But Lucy screenshot it. She said, I went to Instagram to see who she was following, and I was the first person.
What?
Exactly. Teal Swan is following me on Instagram. So I wrote back to Lucy, why would a, quote, spiritual advisor be following a jackass comedian who's usually posting videos of cats or drinks that I'm drinking? I don't know. But then I'm like, all right. Lucy's like, you have to go watch. You're going to binge it. Her and her husband, Aaron, who's a comedian, Aaron Webb, is very funny. They binged it because they couldn't stop watching it. So that I started. And here's the crazy thing. This Teal lady, it's like some people say she's a cult leader. Some people say she's just a helpful, new age type person. But when I watched it, I didn't understand her end game. No, she's going for the group of people that feel like they're in a lot of pain. Yep. They all raise their hand. How many of you feel like you're in pain and you can't get out? Whole ballroom. Bam. Emotional pain. Yeah, not physical. I'm sitting there with broken legs and shit. It's not a faith healing revival. But I didn't understand. I don't know. I mean, I watched it. And run-of-the-mill ballroom speaker person. I mean, they didn't have any testimonials from people. It was also very, 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 very distracting because I do not like the documentaries where they know the camera's there the whole time. So then I don't know, are you saying this because you know there's a camera here? I prefer the documentaries that do it outside of that. And they make a whole documentary of here's people that were involved, here's people interviews, but not them, not the people, not the actual guru person, because I don't know if you're full of shit or not. Totally. But, I'll take any follower on Instagram. Kind of a whore like that. Also, the coolest thing I've ever seen, but I'm too terrified. So you guys know I don't talk about sports a lot, but the golf thing, Greg Norman's league, which to me, the one Live Golf, it's a shotgun start, teams of 3. You have now just created a member guest, or you've created a charity function that I'm in, a charity golf outing, and I'm drinking weird drinks by the 3rd hole going, sure, I love purple vodka. I don't even understand the point of that league other than it's a money grab, which is also whatever, but none of them will admit that. They've been giving talking points. Say it's to grow the game of golf. There's no point in watching this. The Charles Schwartzel, and his name's Charles. It should be either, I'm fine with Charles or Charo, but I have a hard time saying Charles with an L. He won $4 million. That is ridiculous. He's like the 128th, his team. But when you say it's a shotgun start, and you should explain what that means. Shotgun start means we take all the players, you all go to a hole of the 18 holes, and then we shoot a shot. We don't really shoot a shotgun, but in theory, I bet back in the day they went, and then you all start playing. Instead of the PGA, there's a group of 4, and then a group of 4 behind them, and so on and so on and so forth. You don't go shotgun starting. Shotgun start teams is drinky, charity, hilarious, fun. No point, though, except to raise money for a charity. Well, and they're not doing that. Right. But the Canadian Open was this weekend. Rory won, and I bet on Rory. I won $650.
What?
Yeah! I bet 100 on Rory because I think the other league got his Irish up. And I think for Rory to play super good, he needs to get a little angry. And then when they say, how come Rory's not doing this? Well, as an Irish person, I can tell you. Because he feels great. He feels fine. He's not mad about nothing. Not super happy. Just, good, man. Everything's good. Well, we're not motivated. We need to be motivated by, pissed off. That usually get us going in some sort of direction. So I figured he would win, and he did. But even more spectacular, the Canadians came up with this thing. If you can picture a giant picnic table surrounded by a cage, and then a crane takes that giant picnic table up all the way, 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 way high. I wouldn't do it. Well, I wouldn't. My first question is, where am I supposed to go to the bathroom? Because they're serving drinks up there. And then I know I'm going to be drinking, and now there's no bathroom, and I'm stuck in the sky. I can't. But then I read, it only goes up for 30 minutes at a time.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I'd still be terrified.
There's a bar in the middle, too.
There's a whole bar in the middle. The picnic table, you all sit around it, and then there's a bar, and there's someone serving drinks. It was a super fun. I applaud the people that are brave enough to try it.
And they had a hole called the rink.
The hole called the rink was cool. They had hockey boards all the way down it. Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Moving on. So you can go watch Teal Swan if you want.
No, thank you.
It's interesting. I just didn't get her end game.
It's
Money, but you pay to go to the deal? They didn't say that. How much is it to get into the ballroom? Well, they did say it at one point. I forgot. It was a weekend package thing. $5,000? I don't know. I guess money. I don't know.
We should sign you up for one.
I'm not going. I don't go to anything in ballrooms unless I'm being paid. And that would be called a corporate gig.
Or a wedding with an open bar.
Oh my God, then my brother-in-law texted me a picture of him and John Heffron. I'm like, where are you with my friend John? John performed at some banking thing in the Midwest. Yeah, my brother-in-law Matt was there. And then I told John, I love my brother-in-law Matt. Like if him and my sister got divorced, I would go with Matt. Sorry, Kate.
Matt listens and she doesn't.
Matt's easy going. Nah, he's just a great brother-in-law. You bring him 12 beers, he thinks you're the greatest person that ever walked Earth. Holy shit, they found it. The underwater lost city of Zakhiku. I am not saying that right. Resurfaces 3,400 years later on the Tigris River.
Nice.
It's awesome. A team of archaeologists rushed to the Mosul Reserve located in northern Iraq and includes Mosul Dam, once known as Saddam Dam, not anymore, to investigate the old city. Archaeologists say that the lost city is the ancient city of Zakhiku. This is why I believe in Atlantis.
Yeah.
This whole thing, this is a whole city, and people had rumored about it, but then the drought got so bad it just appeared. Like nothing's appearing in Lake Mead except like bodies and oil drums, bad things, yeah. The lost city actually emerged earlier this year after a long extreme drought in the country that led to large amount of waters being drawn from the reservoir to irrigate the crops. This caused all water levels to fall. Amidst all of the excavated findings, several large buildings, a huge fortification, and an extensive city. The University of Freiburg and Tübingen were fast reacting as the reservoir on the Tigris River dried up, revealing the historical wonder. They had to rush to investigate before the site was submerged again. Right.
Wow.
Now, see, why couldn't I help on something like this?
You could.
I can move fast, gather things, pick up a pot or whatever I find, a fork.
Why don't you apply?
In 2018, archaeologists partially discovered the site. This time was the first time a team of archaeologists thoroughly evacuated the site. The extensive city with a palace and several large buildings could be the ancient Zakhiku, believed to be an important center in the Mitanni Empire, 1550 through 1350 BC. So this rumored place was moving along for a long time. They're under immense time pressure because it's not clear when the water in the reservoir would rise again. Yeah, you got to hurry, so you need more people. I'll do it for free. I mean, I could pick stuff up.
Just not in a ballroom.
I'm not doing anything for free in a ballroom. And I'm not paying to be in a ballroom. If I'm in a ballroom, I'm being paid handsomely to be in a ballroom.
Handsomely.
Oh my God, holy shit, they found it. That's a good one, too. I've always wanted, this is called the Isle of Wight, but W-I-G-H-T, like right, but white. I've always wanted to go. I've never had the time. Europe's largest ever predator dinosaur was found on the Isle of Wight. Paleontologists from the University of Southampton identified the remains, which measured more than 32 feet long, and it lived 125 million years ago. The prehistoric bones belonged to a two-legged crocodile-faced predatory spinosaurid dinosaur. Wow. They said it was a huge animal. The remains, which include pelvic and tail vertebrae, were discovered on the southwest coast of the Isle of Wight. The carnivore has been dubbed the White Rock Spinosaurid after the geological layer in which the remains were found. It's starting to get hard. Mm-hmm. But it was a huge animal, exceeding 10 meters in length and probably several tons in weight. Judging from its dimension, it appears to represent one of the largest predatory dinosaurs ever found in Europe, maybe the biggest ever known. It would have lived at the beginning of the period of rising sea levels and would have stalked lagoonal waters. Oh, God. And sand flats. Imagine you went to go take a walk on the beach back then as like a caveman. You're like, what the fuck is that? They don't have a name for it yet. They haven't given it a scientific name. Most of the fossils were found by Isle of Wight dinosaur hunter Nick Chase, who died just before the pandemic. Oh, that's too bad. Yep, so there you go. They found it. That's the biggest one. I can't wait for them to put it back together, and then we can go see it in some museum and see exactly how big it was. Moving on to news. This was the showstopper for the man in the Yankees hat. Chrisley Knows Best stars convicted of committing fraud tax crimes. Now, I only saw this show at the very most 3 times.
Did he live next to your friend?
He lived, one of the homes he had was next to one of my friends in Nashville. Yes, but I don't know how often they were there. They're more Georgia-based, I think. And then they tried to scam some house in California, and they didn't pay the bills. The shit these two did, though. But my first reaction when you see it is, wait, we all know this guy's gay, right?
Right.
Are we going to act like he's not? And then, as it turns out, some gay lover of his turned him in. That's how they got in trouble. Oh. Yeah. Reality shows Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley have been found guilty of conspiracy to defraud banks out of more than $30 million in fraudulent loans, according to the press release from the Department of Justice. First of all, how old do you have to be to know you can't lie to a bank? That's why Anna would have gotten away with it if, like the WeWork guy, you just ask people for money and they give it to you. Nothing wrong with that. Right. But when you start bullshitting on bank forms and all that crap, you're going to get caught.
There's affidavits.
Yeah. And you're going to go to probably, you hope you go to a federal prison because they're nicer, but I mean, you're going somewhere that ain't home. The Chrisleys and their accountant, Peter Tarantino, were also convicted of several tax crimes, including attempting to defraud the Internal Revenue Service. The release from the U.S. Attorney of the Northern District of Georgia said, oh my God. As today's outcome shows, when you lie, cheat, and steal, justice is blind as to your fame, your fortune, and your position. Special FBI agent said, in the end, when driven by greed, the verdict of guilty on all counts for these 3 defendants proves once more again that financial crimes do not pay. They also found Julie Chrisley, whatever, guilty of wire fraud and obstruction of justice. Wow. Best known for their reality show, Chrisley Knows Best. They conspired to defraud community banks in Atlanta out of over more than $30 million in personal loans before becoming reality TV stars.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's got to make you nervous as shit because you know you did it.
Yeah.
And now you're a reality star. You should have waited and you would have got the money. Exactly. Oh, my God. While earning millions of dollars on the reality show, they conspired to defraud the IRS and evade tax collection of delinquent taxes. Why wouldn't you just pay it? You finally have the money. I understand why poor people don't. They never have it. So, in a short statement, so here's what they were doing. They were running around Atlanta. This is before they were on TV. And they were, they had like fake bank statements, all this fake shit to get a loan. So if let's say I walk into Central Bank of Missouri, I want to get a loan, and I present them with all these documents that an accountant has helped me prepare that are completely fake, they're liable to give me a couple $1 million, right. And then they just went and spent it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, people working our way through the news. Scientists surprised after gene editing experiment turned docile hamsters into hyper-aggressive monsters. And the picture of this hamster, he's so cute. You just can't picture him being an asshole. But here's what happened. A team of neuroscience researchers was left, quote, really surprised after a gene editing experiment conducted on hamsters turned the docile creatures into aggressive monsters. In a statement by the Georgia State University in the U.S., researchers highlighted a new study published in the Proceedings of such and such, who cares? As part of the press release, scientists used Syrian hamsters. Why are they different? They don't explain. Looks like your run-of-the-mill hamster to me. He doesn't look like he's from Syria. He looks very, he looks like he's from Tulsa. As a revolutionary technology that makes it possible to turn on or off genes in cells. The technology knocked out a receptor of vasopressin, a hormone associated with enhanced aggression. Oh my God. So they turned it off, and the opposite happened. The teams believed that the genetic tweak would make them more social and peaceful. However, surprisingly, the docile animals became more aggressive. We were really surprised at the results. The opposite happened. They said that their hamsters without the receptor showed much higher levels of social communication behavior than their counterparts. Moreover, the team observed that the typical sex differences observed in aggressiveness were eliminated, with both female and male hamsters displaying a high level of aggression towards same-sex individuals. Behaviors included chasing, biting, and pinning.
Pinning?
Now, I would like to see a video. I know it's wrong. I didn't know they probably shouldn't have done this, but this is how we get gene therapy going. We got to use something. We use a little hamster.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it would be crazy if you woke up the next day, you're your scientist person, and you did your shit in the lab, and you think they're going to be all sweet and nice. And you went in, and he's like, blah! And he's like pinning another hamster. You're like, hey now, why are you being mean? But they didn't say, can they turn it off? Can they make them go back? Maybe they're not enjoying becoming monsters. Does anybody think about that? This is shitty news. It's crazy news. Well, I don't like it. The NFL's Denver Broncos have agreed to sell the team to a Walmart heir and his family. Okay, now, Stan Kroenke, who owns the Rams, and he owns the Colorado Avalanche and the Mammoth at Lacrosse and something else in Denver.
The venue that you perform at.
Yeah, he does all that. He owns. Just how many of these people how many Walmarts get to have a team? Why is that even fun? It'd just be like me playing Patrick every week, and I go, my team's better than your team. Like, who gives a shit? Byron Allen, the comedian who owns the Weather Channel, he wanted to buy it, and they said they were encouraging more black ownership. Well, there's Byron with all the money in the world. What happened? Why they don't explain that either? And I dug deep. The Denver Broncos and the Walton, that's the Walmart people, Penner family, and then they buy things in their spouses' maiden names. Oh. Yeah. Come on. Is it the hockey? No, I know he owns the Avalanche, but I think it might be the Rockies. I don't know.
I'll tell you. The Mammoth or the lacrosse team.
And he owns the Rams.
Oh, and one in, did they own the Arsenal or something?
Arsenal, something in England. This is the Walmart heir, Rob Walton. He's going to acquire the Broncos. Denver Nuggets. Colorado Rapids. Soccer.
Yeah, and the Arsenal.
They're going to acquire the Broncos from the Pat Bowlen Trust in a deal reportedly worth $4.6 billion. It's a record for an American sports franchise. Every time a franchise is sold and bought nowadays, it's always going to be a record. We're thrilled to be selected. To move forward with the purchase of the Denver Broncos. Walton said in a statement on Tuesday. Carrie Walton Penner and Greg Penner and I are inspired by the opportunity to steward this great organization in a vibrant community full of opportunities and passionate fans. The purchase will need the approval from the NFL's Finance and Committee League and league ownership. Learning more about the family's background and vision for Denver Broncos, I'm confident that the leadership will support this team and achieve great things on the field, added Broncos CEO and President Joe Ellis. Today marks a significant step in a new chapter. Blit, 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 blit. Disappointing. Yeah. The same owners all over and over and over. Let a new person in. I was so excited because I still bet I could text Byron Allen. And then if he bought the Broncos, I could go, hey, man. Hey, buddy. I'll do a hey, buddy on him. I'm out here. Any chance I could get 2 tickets to go down and see the Broncos? I mean, I can buy my own tickets, but it just would have been cool for somebody outside this traditional loop of the same flipping people. Here's a little something. My state of Missouri, what do you got going on there? I'm going to have to call my accountant. She knows all about this shit. Movie star Chimp is found in Missouri basement after owner faked its death.
What? What did you just say?
I'm going to repeat that.
Yes.
Movie star Chimp found in Missouri basement after owner faked its death.
What is going on? Your people are crazy.
Missouri has very lax exotic animal laws. I know that firsthand. A famous chimpanzee was found alive in the basement of a Missouri home after the owner faked its primate's death in an apparent attempt to retain custody. Tonka, that's her name. I guess it's a girl. I don't know. Maybe it's a boy. Tonka could go either way. Graced the silver screen in such 90s flicks as George of the Jungle and Buddy. But the chimp actor had not been living in Hollywood. No, the chimp was living in Missouri under the care of an exotic animal broker named Tanya Haddix, according to the people PETA. PETA's onto it. Tonka had been in the middle of a years-long battle among PETA and Haddix, and now the now defunct Missouri Primate Foundation, located in Festus. Okay. Festus is about 50 miles from downtown St. Louis, and you're getting out into questionable areas once you get to Festus. Now, it's better than when I was a kid, because we lived in House Springs for a while, which is not far from Festus. It's the country. It's the country. That's why I'll say that. After suits filed against the foundation by PETA over living conditions of Tonka and other chimps, Haddix was eventually court-ordered to surrender custody of the animals. She had cared for the primates at the facility. After giving up several of the chimps, she claimed that Tonka had died and his body was cremated in a burn pit. However, nearly a year later, PETA obtained phone records in which Haddix said Tonka was still alive, but she planned to have him euthanized on June 2nd.
Oh.
Why? Is he too old? That's it. That's the story.
Come on.
I printed it all out.
We're going to need an update next week because that's ridiculous.
I am. I'll do better on that one. It does say story continues, and I didn't click on it. So we'll find out what happened to Tonka.
What did sister say?
This is amazing, too. It was a great day for crazy, a great week for crazy stories. And here's what I put. Well, mystery Wolfman-like creature spotted near Texas Zoo, and officials can't figure out what it is. Officials say the image released is real, and they're baffled by its mysterious appearance. I put on Twitter, doesn't every zoo have werewolf security guards? Now, Texas, you'd be inclined to go chupacabra, right? But it's not. A chupacabra, I've never seen them standing up. This thing looks like a tiny werewolf, maybe like 4 foot tall. I don't know how tall the fence is. This is Amarillo. Uh-huh. A strange creature has been spotted. It's on 2 legs, and it looks like it has a werewolf head, like a teen wolf. Very skinny legs and skinny arms. Strange creature has been spotted outside a zoo in Amarillo, but it's still within the security area. Okay. So, well, not trapped, but it's by it, like outside a zoo in Amarillo, but it's not exactly an animal and it's not exactly human, or is it? See, a person, what they're saying is could not gotten into this area. It's a secure zone, but maybe, I don't know. Security cameras at the appears to be a Wolfman walking around the property. They said the image is released. They said it's real, and they're baffled. They're now asking, is it a person with a strange hat who likes to walk at night? Somebody said in a tweet, a chupacabra. The cameras at the zoo are motion activated and reportedly send an alert to zoo officials when it captures something. Since the city's call out, the police's guesses have been a bit more colorful, ranging from from Sonic the Hedgehog to the San Antonio Spurs coyote mascot. It can't be a coyote doesn't walk on 2 legs.
No.
Ever.
No, look behind you.
Right. Mm-hmm. Just that one could, because he has baby shoes.
He does.
There's no video of the object, just the image. If nothing else, all these guesses could leave folks howling. But it is funny to go if you want to entertain yourself and go on. But I don't know what that is. I mean, if you look at it online,
yeah,
it's in it. They're saying people couldn't get into this area. So let's just say it's not a person. Okay. And I don't know. It's a werewolf. Right. Okay. Well, something to go look at. I said I'd talk about the Sharkcano. The what? A lot of people don't believe in Sharkcanos.
What's a Sharkcano?
NASA captures Sharkcano eruption where mutant sharks swim near an underwater volcano. No. Now, I was thinking they got blasted into the air with the lava if it erupts. They don't. I made a lot more out of this story than really.
That's crazy.
The Kavachi volcano in the Solomon Islands is underwater. It's an underwater volcano that was dubbed a Sharkcano after a 2015 expedition discovered sharks living within it. Now NASA shared new satellite image of which the latest Sharkcano eruption, which happened this month. One of the later captures gives us a good view of the Solomon Islands Sharkcano as it erupted. It doesn't matter where it's all located. In the images, you can see large plumes of discolored water created by the Sharkcano's eruption. It's an underwater volcano. The sharks, researchers found, have almost mutated, allowing them to adapt to the harsh conditions surrounding the volcano. Unlike the fictional Sharknado of the Sci-Fi Channel's movies, the Sharkcano eruptions don't send sharks flying. Boo. Instead, they named it that because of the sharks that call it home. Still, learning that the sharks live inside of an active underwater volcano is just as exciting. Well, to nerds, not to this lady. I want them flying out in the air. Yeah, I want to be in a boat and see underwater volcano shoot water up like a spout, and then sharks just flying all around. You can see images of it. Okay. So there is such a thing as a volcano underwater where sharks live. As if there's not enough sharks everywhere. This is bad news for the children. For the children. For the children. Carvana. I have jokes in my act about Carvana. But I thought it was on a roll. Everybody I see that has a Carvana license plate, the driver is usually under 30 because they trust buying a car out of a gumball machine. I am old and feel the need to go down there. But I can see if I was in my 20s, you just go, I'll just get it online. And then they deliver it. And then if you hate it, they'll come get it. That's right up their alley, right? Well, I had no idea. But I have noticed there's one by my house, and it hasn't had cars in a while. Well, it have a couple, but usually I get excited and go, "Oh, look, they filled up the gun machine for the children." Like there'll be all kinds of cars, and then it dwindles down. But it hasn't had many cars lately, and then I thought, well, maybe it's because of the pandemic, and they can't get the cars. But no, here's what's happening, because now you're gonna know when you go buy a Carvana what's happening. When Ernie Garcia spoke with analyst Easy Owner during Carvana's Class A reporting call last month, the company's chief executive officer said the used car retailers' first quarter had been, quote, challenging. Some quarters are bumpier than others, he said. Unfortunately, in the real world, they are rarely perfectly straight lines to anywhere. It's a little more than challenging. The company had just posted a confidence-shattering quarter, in the words of J.P. Morgan, as it reported wider than expected loss of $2.89 a share. $2.89 a share it dropped. Wow. Yeah. Much higher than the FactSet's expected loss of $1.44 a share. Garcia cited such factors as COVID, used vehicle prices, interest rates rising, and contributing factors to the company's disappointing quarter. Since January, it's only June, Carvana shares have fallen 83%. To $38 at the time of the writing. Market capitalization collapsed over the period to $6.8 billion from $20 billion on December 31st. Basically, $14 billion of market cap has been wiped out in 5 months. Wow. Carvana went public in 2017, has been described as the Amazon of car dealerships. It's been taking aggressive measures to turn things around, including laying off 2,500 employees. Maybe they could go work on that ship that I want to put in the Party Cove. They could be bartenders and servers and... Party Cove's fun. You have music on. Good times. 12% of the workforce. The company's executive team will forego their salary for the remainder of the year to contribute to the severance pay for the departing employees. Oh, wow. I don't know. And then some people wrote about their experiences. Yeah, Carvana is very much a family affair, as Garcia's father, billionaire Ernest Garcia, is a major shareholder. The elder Garcia pleaded guilty in 1990 to felony bank charge related to the collapse of Charles Keating's Lincoln Savings. And oh, wow, that's a long time ago. So they're losing money, too. In 1991, this is the dad, Garcia, too. He bought Ugly Duckling. I've seen that. And I always thought, the children are renting those because it's cheap. I get it. Yeah. But some of the cars, I'm like, well, how far do you think you're going? Because that car doesn't look like it's going to take you that far without some sort of problem. Right. He took the company public in 1996 and then took it private 6 years later and renamed it Drive Time. Wow. That was Ugly Duckling. That no longer exists. The younger Garcia joined Drive Time before co-founding Carvana with so-and-so and so-and-so. The father and son have lost an estimated 80% of their wealth. However, just when you start to feel sorry for him, the elder Garcia has a net worth of $5 billion, down from $9 billion. You're still fine.
Yeah, you can buy the Broncos.
Here's a couple things people said, though. These are just, it was just the last page of the article. Mm-hmm. This guy said he bought a car from them when they told me to pick it up. I went to my bank and got a cashier's check and called them to say I was on my way, and they told me it was already sold. I said, yes, I know. I'm on my way to get it. They said no, they had sold it to someone else. They sold it to someone who financed through them because they could make more money. My daughter bought from them they got theirs a couple weeks later and find out all the tires had some kind of rot. Never buy from Carvana. Oh my God. Somebody else bought a car from them a few months ago, still waiting for my registration and license plate. Making a payment on a car I can't even drive legally. Oh my God. Somebody said Carvana is a scam when it comes to vehicles. So many things right off the bat. Soon there will be empty car vending machines. Well, that's what I'm seeing. Yeah. Now, if any of you termites have had a good experience, put it on the YouTube comments and I'll read those. I don't want to seem one-sided, and I'm not against Carvana. I seem like a good idea for the children because they'll order shit online and feel fine with that. I need to go down and see who's down there lying to me about what's happening. Kathleen, why don't you wait here? We're going to go talk to so-and-so. No, you're just going to go out in the back and smoke cigarettes. I know what you're doing. But, okay. This is kind of weird. Okay. Well, it's nature versus nurture. Oh, I want my Loch Ness Monster. I have one relative who I think is probably a psychopath. Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. We all think it. Will you tell me after? I will tell you later. Great. That person's name. Okay. Could be. Not for sure, but could be. Like if something came on the news and they said that this person did all these crazy things, none of us would be surprised. Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. So the question is a psychopath, is it nature versus nurture? Wow. Well, there's a new study that shows psychopathic people have a bigger, I'm going to say this wrong, stratum area in the brain. Stratum? They have so there's a physical difference between us and them. Right, they used MRIs and they discovered. They never say in this study though. How'd you get these people to do it? Are they prisoners? Are they? It's an area in the forebrain. It's 10% bigger in psychopathic people compared to a control group of individuals with low or no psychopathic traits. So psychopaths, along with people with psychopathic qualities, are people who have an egotistical and antisocial disposition. This is often characterized by a lack of guilt for their actions, lack of empathy for others, and in some cases, criminal tendencies. The forepart of the brain, the subcortical region of the brain that encompasses the whole, coordinates numerous elements of cognition, motor, blah, blah, blah. Previous research has shown that psychopaths have an overactive stratum, how you say it, but the influence of its size had yet been to be confirmed. So, yeah. You know, so let's say you could do the MRI imaging and you found out your kid was a psychopath. Okay. That's how you end up with the show Dexter. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. You have to tell the psychopath, if you're going to do crazy things, you have to do things that are for good, not for evil. So, like, if we had a psychopathic serial killer who only killed other serial killers. Oh. Right? Yeah. Well, that's what Dexter did. What? Kind of. Yeah, he killed bad people. But I'd rather have him focus on serial killers. Okay? Yeah. Here's another one. I don't know how I feel about this. Okay. This is where people are getting too goddamn rich. The Hawaiian island of Lanai. Now, I don't want to sound like a rich person, but I have been there once, but I did not spend the night, and I took a ferry from Maui. Any Joe Blow can get on a ferry. And then it used to be a pineapple plantation, back in the day. But Larry Ellison, the guy, the Oracle guy, he bought the whole thing. Really? And that's two-sided because a lot of the locals feel like, well, the whole island? Right. And then you just got to hope you got a good king. Yes, he bought the whole island. Now, there's not a lot on it. It's not like Maui or, Oahu. There's a Four Seasons on it because he built it, yeah. But there used to be a little town, just local people, a couple motels, and you just go fishing and enjoy it's also kind of arid. It's really a strange island. Like, I took hikes and stuff, and it gets kind of deserty, but it's beautiful. And the locals are saying, look, if we get one person that buys it, you have a good king or a bad king. You hope for a good king. But the problem is if we let a bunch of people buy stuff, then we got to deal with each individual, and you could get 4 shitty kings, 2 good kings. Now you have a giant mess. Right. So I don't know. I feel like the state of Hawaii should have got together and protected these people. And I know you can't keep it like 1954 forever and ever and ever, but it could be a lot more controlled than this bullshit. Right. This is just saying to some guy, yeah, you can buy it. Well, there's people that have been living out there for generations, and this is their deal. Now, there's a few hippies that I feel like I know people like this who are like, yeah, so I came here in 1965, and like it was so great. Okay, well, you're not really from here. You just found something. If progress ain't going to stop because you're lazy. But I'm going to tell you, he bought it for $300 million. Came 98% of Lanai's 90,000 acres plus the 2 Four Seasons resorts that provide the jobs, a significant chunk of homes, practically all commercial properties. Overnight, he became everyone's boss, landlord, or both. Because then he started buying up the little buildings, and now they have to pay him rent. So you're like, he's your king. Right. You have to pay him. You work for him. Just to stay on the island. But I could see if you had family that was out there for years and years and years, you'd feel like this is my home. Like there's a large Filipino population out there, and this is our shit, dude. You know. Right. But they just let this guy. It's a very long article, but I want to print the link in case people want to read it. Because he's pushing residents out.
Show notes. Maybe the schnotes.
The show notes, also known as the schnotes. A few of the locals say he's doing good things, but most of them are like, we're just going to leave. They're out. But then he's going to have to get people, if you don't treat the locals right, that are awesome, well, how are you going to ship people in from Maui every day? Maybe. That'll be the next thing. But where are they going to live in Maui? That's really expensive too. Or he's going to build some shitty apartments like they do in some of these 5-star resort things. But read the article and you can decide. I don't think he's a horrible king. He's not mean, but he's not a good king. No. And he's old now. I Googled it. This print on here is too. Under Ellison, 30-day leases have become the norm for Lanai small businesses, as opposed to the 5 terms that used to be before now. 30-day lease. So every month you're worried. Is he going to renew my lease, or is he going to wreck this place? Or is he going to, I mean, he's going to renovate things all over the island. Right, but you have to bring the locals with you, or you don't have a staff. If you don't even care about the morality of it, or you don't care about being nice, how about you need staff? Right. Or it's going to become what I call 5-star camping. Because some of these resorts where I have to do corporate gig, it's like 5-star stuff, but there's no staff anymore. Right. I bring everything. I go get ham from the grocery store because I know the restaurants will be open. There will be ham and crackers. That's what I'm having for dinner. This is a nice story to end on. Because I don't have my quotes because I keep losing this magazine. Let's see. Kenichi Hori. You ever heard of him? No, you haven't. He's an 83-year-old Japanese man, and he just became the oldest person to sail solo across the Pacific. No. Yep. Cool. Sailing solo across the world's largest ocean once is enough of an achievement, but 83-year-old Japanese ocean adventurer Kenichi Hori has done it multiple times. On June 4th, Saturday, he set a record by becoming the world's oldest solo yachtsman to sail nonstop across the Pacific. He arrived in the waters of the Kyoto Peninsula in western Japan at 2:30 a.m. local time after spending more than 2 months crossing the world's largest body of water. Don't let your dreams just stay as dreams. Well, here's our quote. Don't let your dreams just stay as dreams. Have a goal and work towards achieving this, and beautiful life awaits, Hori told CNN over a satellite phone as he made his way from the Zakhiku Island towards Wakamaya. Wakayama, the final leg of his voyage. He was in a 19-foot-long sailboat. Are you kidding me? No. Nope. My boat is 26 feet. I would never go anywhere in the ocean in that. No way. He had he said some parts of the journey were challenging, but he checked in with his family every day by calling him on a satellite phone. If I didn't call at least once a day, they'd worry. He made no port calls during his trip and was spotted off Hawaii's Oahu Island on April 16th. He will arrive in Cape Himosaki, Japan on June 4th, and he did arrive. The sailor will attend an arrival ceremony in Nishinaima City and Haigo after whatever. Then he goes home. This isn't the first time he's done it. In 1962, he was a 23-year-old spare car parts salesman when he became the first person in history to successfully make a nonstop journey across the Pacific from Japan to California. I had the confidence I would make it. I just wanted to take on the challenge, she said, adding sometimes he felt anxious during storms at sea as he only had a radio on board and there was no GPS back then.
Oh my God. Whoa.
What a crazy person.
That's awesome.
That's so brave. I would never do it.
No.
And then what if he came across a Sharkcano? You know, you're in your 19-foot boat and a 16-foot shark flies out of a volcano underwater.
He'd call you on his satellite phone.
All right, termites. That's it. I have to go pack and repack and unpack. I have to decide what I'm wearing for the show at Slide of Kansas. I have to find golf shorts. I have to find a golf shirt that's not hot. It's gonna be so hot.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to whoever that applies to out there. Fathers. People, well, stepdads, you know, people that acted like dads. Like, that counts, right? I'm going to put this movie star chimp thing. I'm going to get into this a little bit more and find out. And then I'm going to call my friend Sherry, because Sherry knows about exotic animal laws in Missouri.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see if she knows her, and I'm going to get the inside skinny.
What are you going to do with those Crown Royal logs?
These Crown Royal logs are going to go, well, I'm going to,
Dad?
I don't think I can pack, I don't know. Yeah, I'll take them to my dad. And I'm going to save a few for Carrot Top because he loves Crown Royal. And I know when he's in Florida, he'll grill out.
That'd be so great.
Yeah. All right, termites. Be summer safe, termites. Don't get overheated. Wear your sunblock.
The new shirts are on order.
Oh, the new shirts are on order. Right, we have new Pubcast shirts.
And so are the trucker hats.
And so are the trucker hats. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You're going to regret that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Termites will like them.
And go online at Target and see if you can find some Old Bay Goldfish. Kathy said there wasn't hardly any left, though.
No.
No, she sent me 4 bags of them. She got them online from Target.
One's fine for me.
I've never seen them anywhere.
They're so good. Mm-hmm. I love Old Bay.
Limited edition.
Nice.
Maybe everybody ate them all. Maybe there's no more. Carvana people. Anybody like Carvana? Write me. Tell me why they're great. I see a lot of cars on the roads that says Carvana on their license plate. Yeah. I thought they were doing fine. I thought the pinball machine lack of gumballs was because of COVID. Right. Maybe not. Nope. All right, termites. That's it. Are you ready? Night-night, termites.